Hey everybody, welcome.
Welcome
to another episode of 10X Owners Live.
We are here to help business owners scale and grow.
Last year, I made $300,000.
And what did I tell you you're going to do this year?
1 million.
Can't speak highly enough about him.
I love what you're saying, by the way. I've been taking some notes.
This is a great call tonight.
Brandon, what makes you qualified to be hosting a show called 10X Owners Live on a Tuesday night full of business owners?
I've been building and selling businesses for the past 25 years. As one of the youngest people to ever ring the opening bell at the American Stock Exchange, and then selling my last business for $151 million, 77 times EBITDA to a $1 billion company, I partnered with Grant Cardone.
I love Brandon. Big hand for Brandon.
And we've created a business in 36 months using the exact principles we teach.
And every Tuesday night, the Cardone Ventures team comes on here to 10X Owners Live to help you. Grab your pen, paper, and get ready to take notes. This is your night, your chance to ask quality questions, to 10X your business, to achieve your personal, professional, and financial goals.
It's time to 10X.
This is 10X Owners Live.
Advantage.
Welcome to 10X Owners Live, everyone.
Welcome.
Look who I have with me normally, the guy who's doing the pre-show, I should say.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's true.
So I have a question for you.
Yep.
What makes you qualified to host Owners Live?
Well, first of all, I am Brandon Dawson's brother. And I'm the Senior Director of Market Development here at Cardone Ventures. And I have been in sales since I was 19 years old.
And he's 22
and I'm
now.
21. And so that's what makes me qualified. I'm just kidding. I'm 40. That sounds bad to say out loud. But I am 40, and that's what makes me qualified to talk to you about sales tonight.
This is Josh Dawson, by the way, because he did not throw his name out there.
Oh, I didn't throw my name. Sorry.
He absolutely is one of the most remarkable people in sales that I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and that is what definitely makes you qualified to be on this call.
True.
My name is Heather Block. I'm the Vice President of Training here at Cardone Ventures. And do you want to ask me the same thing?
Yeah, so Heather, why would you be qualified to talk to these business owners tonight?
Thank you for that question. I have had the privilege, absolute privilege. I haven't had 40 to 40 years with Brandon, but I have had almost 14 and a half years with Brandon, helping him grow and scale multiple businesses. And I've had the absolute pleasure of helping to build Cardone Ventures for the last 3.5 years. So.
And 14 years with Brandon is actually 107 in normal people years.
It really is. He's a dynamic, incredible individual, a mastermind when it comes to growing and scaling. We call him a serial entrepreneur, and that's for a reason. And what I'm excited about tonight is actually what we get to talk to you about, which, as Ashley alluded to, thank you, Ashley, by the way, wonderful opening. We're going to talk sales and people tonight. So last week was performance reviews, right? So that's like you've had somebody on your team. Here's what you don't do during performance reviews, and Natalie dropped absolute fire last week. But this week, we're going to bring it to the front of the employee engagement side of things, and we're going to talk sales and people. But you're probably wondering why those two things, and the reason is, and we have a worksheet we're going to have you download, is that there's 5 different elements to growing and scaling your business on a very foundational level, and 2 of those are what we're covering tonight. And so we're going to be talking a bit about how you would attract a remarkable salesperson, what you're looking for in that salesperson, what the process is behind interviewing them, and especially from somebody such as Josh, like what is the perspective? What do you look for? What are the red flags? And then I'm going to bring along the way a lot of the technical components and behavioral outlook to how you hire this type of person. And then what do you do with them next to make sure you set them up for a successful onboarding?
Yeah, because we go over 3 different phases when we hire somebody. So we have a cultural piece, right? And then
behavioral, close enough, yeah.
Behavioral and our cultural piece. And then we have next our case study, which is what we do. So we test into their competencies, find out are they qualified for the job. And then our last is our core values. How well do they align with Cardone Ventures, and what do our core values mean to them? So for sales, like for us, like I want to know when I get a hold of them, like what kind of questions are they going to ask? So what kind of questions do I want to ask them so that I understand their competencies? And when we role play back and forth, what kind of questions are they asking me?
Agreed. And look, let's have them download this.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then we are going to get to nitty gritty of all of this because it's really, really good stuff. A lot of technical information, but stuff that you can implement right away and tell me in the chat, give me a 10X if actionable data on this call is valuable to you. I just want to see in the chat if that's what you're here for, is that kind of value. There we go.
Let's do it.
Perfect. Thank you, Miami HQ. There is a worksheet tonight if you want to fill some stuff out, because it's from a general perspective. We want to set some goals with you, because everything that we talk about when it comes to actionable items is designed with intention to help you increase your revenue. That is 100% our intention, is to help you with that. And also your profit, making sure things are effective and efficient. So let's download tonight's worksheet. It's in the chat. It's also up on the screen. Thank you. I couldn't find us on the board, even though there's an 86-inch television in front of us. Scan the code.
You should get glasses.
I should get glasses.
Yeah.
Apparently
That'd be
different
good for you.
glasses. Actually, I did get an eye exam this week.
You did?
So my prescription did change.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I got
now
new glasses
you have
coming.
something to-
Right. Look forward to it. Anyway, scan that code or download or click on that link in the chat. And that way, and I think they have to enter their email in order to get it. So I'm kind of stalling here a bit, because I've heard in the past we get going too fast on content. They're trying to download the worksheet. So we'll go just a little bit longer on the stretch here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I could share my story.
You know what?
It's only going to take 47 minutes to talk about how I am qualified. I did want to share this. This is the first time I get to share, like, how I came into this business.
I
So
think you should, actually.
I can do that. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm going to give you guys a brief intro on how I came into this business. So Brandon talks constantly about how he was looking for a mentor. He was looking for somebody to help him in his next iteration of growth. So little beknownst to him, in 2006, I'd already found this mentor. Like, I was raised in the car business, so I knew who Grant Cardone was very early on in my career. I was literally put in a room and they said, hey, watch this video of this guy he had fluffy hair back then. And yeah, and they were like, you need to watch this video because he's going to train you on everything you need to know about sales. I was like, okay. And like, he was kind of a goofball back then. And I was like, you know what does this guy know about sales? Like, how can he teach me? And then he started talking through a process and talking through different closes, talking through questions. And I'm like, this never works. This can't work. Like, it's too easy, it's too simple. And he made it so simple. So I remember trying it and found out, oh my gosh, it does work. And so then we followed the process and we actually killed it as a store. Well, fast forward, I was promoted through the ranks. I was the general sales manager of that store. And the director of HR, we were a giant company back then. And so like, the director of HR came to me and said, we're no longer using Grant Cardone's training. And I was like, why aren't we not using Grant Cardone's training? She's like, no, it's too expensive and everybody sounds like they're robots, no matter what store you go to. And I'm like, well, you mean they're all on the same page and they're all saying the exact same thing? And nobody's doing exactly what they should do by themselves. They're doing it all together. So she was like, yeah, but we're just not going to do it. And I was like, okay. So I went out and I bootlegged every single one of his DVDs, and then I copied every single one of his scripts, and I just kept the training going.
Can we just cut out the bootlegging part?
That didn't happen. So
Anyway,
everybody
kept the
raise your
training
hand.
going.
Okay,
Yeah.
no. So like, I kept all that stuff, and I just kept training in the store. And then I remember telling Grant this story, and he says, you're exactly why we switched on to Cardone U. Because I didn't want people to steal my stuff that weren't paying for it. And so I was like, thank you, you're welcome. I only take 10% royalties. But, but what I did tell him was it was great because it introduced a process to our store, and every other store did what they wanted to, and nobody was on the same page. And our store was on the same page, and we never broke. And we were the #1 store in our auto group of 16 other dealerships. So then fast forward, I'm looking on Instagram one day, and I see my brother, and he's hanging out with Grant Cardone on a beach in Cabo. And I literally text him, and I'm like, what are you doing with Grant Cardone? Like, he's my mentor. You're not in the automotive space. You're in corporate Wall Street. Like, this is not you. And he was like, well, interesting. Super interesting story to tell you. What are you doing on Wednesday? I want to run something by you. So then I was like, well, I got to hear this. So I came over there. Brandon, literally in 2 hours, laid out absolutely everything that we're doing right now, currently in Cardone Ventures. And he literally walked me through the office, walked me through the meetings we were having, walked me through some of the clients that we were meeting. Like, I felt like this has already happened.
Can I tell you something? Can I just, because I want you to keep going, but
yes.
This is something that Brandon does, and he does it remarkably well. It's called manifestation and visualization. And he literally acts as if in a moment when he's planning something, like he's already, like right now where we are today, Yet, like you're saying, he was walking Josh through that 3.5 years ago. And right now, if you talk to Brandon, the things he visualizes about 2 or 3 years ahead, he's already acting as he's 2 or 3 years ahead. It's an incredible talent. And everyone should try to do it, by the way, because it's remarkable. But anyway.
Yeah, and like literally he walked me through every single step, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I mean, I just couldn't even, I couldn't even put myself there, but he put me there.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so amazing, and this is so impactful, and this is what everybody wants to do with their lives. They want to help other people. And Brandon's like, we're going to create a legacy. He was like, I'm going to help 1 million business owners, 10X, and then they're going to help their teams, and we're going to help tens of millions of people.
And so then what happened? What did he say to you? What was the question?
He asked me a question. He was like, hey, let me ask you a question. Like, if we were to do something like this together on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like you're not interested and 10 being like this is the most intriguing thing that you could do, where would you place yourself? And I was like, well, I'm at a 10, because this is 2.5 hours of him walking me through the future and showing me exactly how we could succeed together. And I was like, well, I'm at a 10. I was like, I literally just want to download this information to my wife. She'll ultimately be on board with anything that I say because she has implicit trust in me. But I feel like I owe her that I'm going to make a major move. Because I was being groomed to take over my own dealership at this time. So anyway, I went home. It took me 3 whole days to make the decision. And I literally leaped. And we started Cardone Ventures in a very small office in Vancouver, Washington. Shout out to Vancouver, Washington right now, who's watching. And then, we had our board meetings inside Brandon's home around his coffee table.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, you remember that.
Yep,
You were there. So,
totally.
and everything that now we're 3 years later, we're on a trajectory to do just under $100 million this year. And that's our run rate.
Yeah.
And then this is 3 years later, and we have 183 employees throughout both of our companies. So it's
amazing.
It's incredible to see how far we've come, and it's that belief lid that raises you up to where you're like, when somebody can paint a vision, and this kind of now it's going to go back.
Yep.
Now it's going to go back to how do you get great people and how do you get people on board, right? So because Brandon was so articulate when he's talking about where we're going as a business and how we're going to get there, this is literally the conversation I have with every single one of our employees on the interview. Usually it's on the 3rd interview. Sometimes on the 2nd I sprinkle it a little bit, but it's talking about the opportunity that exists inside your business. And when you can relay that opportunity to them, then they're like, dude, I'm on board. Because every single person out there, no matter what they do, they want to find something that they align with. They want to find something that's a vehicle for them to achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals. And they want to know that they can succeed working with you.
Yeah.
And once you show them that and carve out that path, and then the business, like you come into the business and you see, here are the targets. We're crushing targets. We're growing. Here's where we were 3 years ago. Here's where we are 3 years from now. And we're continuing to grow and scale. I can't tell you like how powerful that is and how much that brings people back and says like, this is the place.
Yeah.
I can scale and grow here. I can achieve my goals, and they want to be a part of that kind of stuff.
So true. I'm glad that you took that route, because that's where I
Yeah.
was going to go with this, because I was thinking, all of you business owners, if you are not confident in where your business is going, for example, on that worksheet, it's saying your current revenue, list it. Where are you today? Where are you going to end the year, basically? And then what's your 5-year projected revenue? What is your vision? What is your picture? If you're not confident in where you're going, then as you are having conversations with in these interviews, if you're not painting that picture, then you're not creating confidence in that individual to make the decision to align with you and to see that they can achieve their goals with you. And that's a really significant thing, is to have that confidence and have it right from the start. Because one thing Brandon always says is, you will never hire great people because they're already busy. But you can attract them. You can attract them through these types of pictures. He was busy. He was about to be promoted. And Brandon came in and said, here's the opportunity, and laying that out. That's, again, where that manifestation and visualization comes in. It does create confidence, because that is your stream of consciousness, that you're doing everything. Every action is pointed towards that North Star. And so you can't be distracted. And that confidence comes out in your conversations.
And so many people, like, and we talk to business owners every single day, and so many people will say that they don't, I don't want to share those kind of goals with my employee, because I'm worried that they'll think, well, if we're going to be $1 billion company or $100 million company, what, like, that's you're going to get paid that.
Yeah.
But I think then asking the logical next question is like, hey, what is success? Like, that's what success looks like for me. What does success look like for you? Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve? Yeah. Like, and if you can then take that and then tie that into the growth of the business and show them how they can succeed with you, then why wouldn't they want to come along with you?
100%.
Why would anybody want to go build something by themselves when they could build something with somebody and go twice as fast?
That's actually my story.
Or why would somebody want to leave if you're?
Exactly.
People get afraid of that too. Hey, like I'm a $5 million business. What if my people leave me and they try to go build a business? That's a route you can go. But hey, what do you think I learned on the road to 5 million? And I'm willing to teach you, and we can cut all that stuff out of it, and we can start at 5 million and continue to build, and I can show you how to build something alongside of me and with me, and how you can gain a piece of that working with me.
Yeah.
So like that's a big thing that I feel like people leave out because they're so concerned in the moment that they're not like Brandon does a very good job of continuously painting the picture, and we're all inspired.
And I think that's because he has an abundance mentality.
Yeah.
There's so much. I mean, so does Grant, right? Grant constantly says that there's abundance. Go after it. And so don't have that scarcity mentality where you feel like someone's going to feel a certain kind of way because you have an abundance mentality. Like they're going to feel a certain way about you. That's just not the case, because the more Brandon talks about the abundance, the more excited I actually get.
Yeah.
I actually get scared first because it's like, we've never done that before.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. But then again, back to your point, the reason I have stayed and actually come back is because of this big picture and the fact that, yes, I can go do stuff on my own. I actually tried for a little bit. And can I make an impact? Sort of. But my mission is so aligned with Brandon's mission of just massive impact. One person can't have massive impact unless you have a ginormous team around you. And so it's just like, why wouldn't I draft behind someone who already is 3 years ahead when I'm not thinking that way, right? So regardless, this is how you attract great people, and you show them where the opportunity is, and they will leave other opportunities when they see the path.
Exactly.
So this is really good. This wasn't even part of the
well,
thing, but I like this.
we went off.
I like that. We're off script. This is what Brandon does a lot.
Well,
our team is amazing here. Our marketing team, shout out to Talia, especially writing like the guidance of everything we're supposed to talk about tonight, and then we just go off script. But Talia, you're amazing. Just want to like give her a huge shout out. So, but back to this. This does wrap in though with everything
let's do it.
Here's the thing: 5 elements in business. To gain that confidence that we're talking about, to build that picture, you have to know about these certain types of elements in your business to be able to be confident enough to speak about it and speak about the opportunity and hire great people into these roles. And so tonight, again, people and sales is what we're talking about. This is a journey, by the way. We're not going to give you all 5 elements. You have to come to certain events and things like that to get all the goods, all the detail. But we are still going to give you some actionable data tonight. But we're going to let you know about some great opportunities coming up to learn all about the 5 elements. In fact, do you want to quickly just plant the seed now?
Yeah, absolutely. So like sales is a piece, right? People, you need people to do the sales. You need people in your business, right? You also need marketing. You also need finance. You also need to know how to scale through your leadership and your business. So this is the things that we teach at the Business Boot Camp. This is what spending 3 days with us looks like, because we don't want to give everything to you, and you can't in a 1-hour call.
No.
Like, you can't give everything. We can give you a little bit, and we want you to use that, and we want you to take it back to your business, and we want you to implement what you can. But imagine if you get any kind of value of spending 1 hour with us every single night, or every single Tuesday night. I wish it was every night.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do. So, but if I want everybody to know that if you get any kind of value on these calls, and this is only 1 hour, imagine what you would get with our team of 3 full days. Like talking about your business, answering your questions, spending time with you personally, so we can build that relationship. So we can tell you that it doesn't have to be by yourself. It can be with a team. Because that's what we're trying to instill in you is that you can build something with your team, but you can also build it through collaboration with other people that have been there, they've done that, they've learned the mistakes. They're willing to show you the mistakes. You don't have to make them on your own. No. You can learn through other mistakes, and you can learn through other people's mistakes, because that's exactly what Brandon teaches.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to throw up, of course, our QR code in case you want to join us.
I don't want to throw up.
You don't want to throw up?
No.
Please don't. I know
I'll
you were
put
nervous,
on
but
a QR code, but I don't want to throw up.
Place
A QR code
Anyway, guys, boot camp. Who's been to boot camp? Put yes in the chat if you've been to a Grant Cardone boot camp in Aventura, Florida. Yes. It is one of the best workshops to attend on financial literacy, and not just these 5 elements of business of how to grow and scale, but just understanding overall how to set yourself up for total success in marketing, sales, scaling, everything. Now, this is something that's really cool. Normally, they are held near Grant Cardone headquarters in Aventura, Florida, but for the first time ever, we are conducting a boot camp here in Scottsdale, Arizona, November, 11th through 13th?
11th, 12th, and 13th.
Yeah, 11th through 13th here in Scottsdale. And I don't want to hear that, oh my God, it's so hot there, because November is literally one of the best times of the year here.
Yeah, it's cooled way, way off.
Yes, and it's going for $497 a seat, or they can
upgrade to the VIP experience. So if you are interested, number one, I think we have a link there in the chat, and then we have a QR code up so you guys can scan that QR code. But if you're also interested in saying, hey, I want a little bit more information, I want, I want access. I want to know what VIP looks like. Then just put me in the chats, and somebody from the team will reach out to you, and they'll let you know like exactly what that looks like, because we want to give you all the data.
Yeah, the VIP experience is absolutely worth it. The access is incredible for sure. But anyway, okay, so we've talked about that. Okay, but now let's get into the nitty gritty here. So from the people component, creating your staff, your team, I should say, of remarkable individuals, that making sure that they're fully aligned, engaged, contributing at their highest level of impact does take some intentional focus when it comes to hiring. There's a whole element to posting, basically creating what I like to call your dating profile for open enrollment. Man, I'm having a hard time.
It's okay.
It's not insurance.
You're doing
it's not
great.
Insurance. For hiring people, that's a whole thing. You can learn all that stuff at our People Essentials, but skipping forward to the actual hiring process, like Josh alluded to earlier, there's 3 different steps. And I'm going to give those to you right now. So pen and paper, spoiler alert, you should write this down. Even if you know this, you should write this down. Reinforce it, everyone who's been through our courses before. First is behavioral interview. As Josh said, it's a cultural fit. It's trying to understand, how does this person fit into our culture? Do they understand what we do? I think that is an underrated, I think a lot of people ask, how'd you hear about us, right? Like that's a common interview question. But the true intention is, do they take the time to do the research? Because for example, Cardone Ventures is a company under Grant Cardone Enterprises. Right. Grant Cardone happens to be the 3rd largest social media promoter. Like, he is so big out there. He's so loud. Like, if somebody doesn't know, if we say, do you know about our founders? And they say something about Brandon, but they don't say something about Grant, you're like, what research did you do on us? Oh, I went to your website, which, by the way, our website is not like a informational site. It's just a landing page, really, to invite people to 10X Owners Live, to be honest.
I have boxes that I check, like every time that I get on Zoom with an interview. And I literally, because most people that come in our atmosphere, they're like, oh man, Grant Cardone, huge fan. Or watch him on YouTube, read his books, what have you. Then the next question I ask is, great, tell me what you know about our CEO and founder, Brandon Dawson. And they're like, yeah, not too much. There's not that much out there. And I'm like, really? There's not too much out there. Except it's all over our website. You can Google his name. Like, we're all over social media and Facebook. So we're as much omnipresent as like what Grant teaches us to be. But it's just interesting to see who's prepared and who's done their research, and who's just like a fanboy who wants, or a fangirl who's like, hey, like I just wanted to get on because it was Grant Cardone. Yeah. But then like take the opportunity seriously. Like, and to go out there, like not everybody's attached to Grant Cardone. I obviously know that, but let this be one of your questions that you ask. Hey, what research have you done about us? Like, what do you know about our business? Because if they're like, I haven't done any, then they've come ill prepared to the interview. So like if you do have a case study to test into their competencies or something to test into their technical abilities to do the job that you're hiring them to do, then you want to know, like, if somebody's familiarized themselves, like, oh, I know that your company does X, Y, Z, and I know you guys have been in business for this many years. They're going to be able to sell the value proposition of the business, which is a big thing in sales. Is like you want to sell the people that you're doing business with as much as you want to sell the product that's going to help them do whatever they need to do.
Well, you sell the way you buy the way you sell, which if you're not in full alignment and not just from, hey, I'm here for a paycheck, but I'm here for the experience and the mission, and I align with that fundamentally, then that's how you're going to promote the company, especially from a sales position. And so, and one other thing to remember about this too is that we are very intentional about our hiring dating profile, meaning like putting ourselves out there. If you're not attracting great people and you're saying, I can't find any good people, there aren't any good people out there. No, it's not them, it's you. I hate to say it, I'm gonna be a little harsh here, but it's actually you. You don't have a good dating profile. You're probably not out there. There's not enough information out there for them to actually be attracted to wanting to reach out to you, right? So this is something else to consider. It's kind of a gut check for you. What is my profile out there? What do I look like? What am I putting out there? Can people really understand what we do, or at least feel what we do, if they don't quite understand the technical things that we do? So that first interview is really important, especially for a salesperson, because there's 3 points of integration. I'm going to give you a little bonus content here. You don't just want to hire someone for their operational abilities. You want to hire for cultural integration, operational integration, and financial integration. And what I mean by that is that, are they interested in their contributions helping to drive revenue for the organization? Do they have operationally the competencies and the desire to increase those competencies to contribute at their highest level? And from a cultural integration standpoint, are they here for the magnitude of mission of why you do what you do? Because that is a fundamentally important, extremely important thing for employees to attach to, is your why. Does their why match your why? That's, again, back to why I'm here and why I've been here for so long, is that my why matches Brandon's and Cardinal Ventures' why. So back to number 1, the behavioral interview. All right. Number 2 is the technical interviews. This is what Josh was just talking about. It's like, can they do the job?
Yeah.
So we set case studies. Basically, we give them, call it a role play, call it an example of demonstration of their actual talents. Like for sales, what do you guys do?
Yeah, for us, like what we do is I send them, like most of the people on here know that, we drive a lot of events. So, what we do is we send them information on our 10X 360. And we tell them what it is, what the price is, what it covers, everything you get. And we also encourage them to do some of their own research based on our website, which we have our products and services listed. And then we say, hey, like, you're going to do a role play scenario where you're the salesperson, I'm going to be the client, and then you're going to try to see, like, how far you can take the call. So for me, like, what I'm looking for is like, I understand that, they're not going to be able to sell the product like I sell the product, or they're going to be able to do as well as me. What I'm looking for is, number 1, how well did they prepare? I'm testing into their sales ability, because for me, like, I don't need to necessarily know everything about the product if I first started a business. What I need to know is I need to understand the buyer. I need to understand, hey, what are you looking for? How can I add value to you? Like, I'm going to do that through asking questions. Hey, when you clicked on this link, what were you hoping to find on the other side?
Say that one more time for them.
So if you click on this link, what are you hoping to find on the other side? What were you searching for? What are the things that right now are your bottlenecks or restraints that are holding you back in your business from getting bigger and bigger and bigger? And so for them, like, I want them to ask questions, because Brandon always says it, the quality of your questions will determine the quality of your results. And that's what you're looking for, is that when you learn to ask great questions, you can find those results that you're looking for. So I'm finding out, like, how are they doing that and how are they moving through the process? And then, when it comes to the pitch, they're going to ask me for the pitch. And then what I'm going to try to do is say, yeah, just send me some information. I'm going to try to get off the phone with them. And then I'm going to leave it to them to say, hey, let me ask you a few more follow-up questions. I understand that I got to send you some information, but let me ask you this. If I were to send you some information, what are you hoping to see? What's going to grab your attention to have you get back on the phone with me and know that we're the right people that you want to work with? So ask, how hard are they going to stay in the fight? If I say, hey, just send me some information, they're like, hey, yeah, that's fine. Can I follow up with you? And then they got off the phone. They don't want to hang in the fight. They don't want to talk to them more and figure out how they can build the relationship. At the end of the day, like, I want you to build enough value to where I want to get on the second phone call with you, and then let you digest that information and find out like where I can fill in the missing pieces. So and you'll notice in that whole scenario, I didn't know anything about I didn't talk about what I was selling.
Yeah.
Like you do have to know that, and you can craft your own pitch. And I've had people make slideshow presentations, which is extremely creative, and I like that a lot. But it all comes up with, for me, like, what kind of questions are you going to ask me? You know, how well are you going to fight for it at the end of the deal? Hey, are you going to ask me, like, hey, when can I get on another call with you? What information did I not give you that you would need to know before you were to make this decision? Is there anybody else involved in the process? Like, have you tried anything in the past and it didn't work? Like, all these questions, I'm going to grade them on. And then I'm going to find out if I want to move them to the third piece. I don't expect anybody to sell me on a one-call close. Grant says sales are made, like, on your first call, that sale is going to be made 2% of the time. You know, somewhere sales are made between the 8th and the 12th call. So like, you're never going to one-call close somebody, especially on the size of product that we're looking at. But what you have is an opportunity to build a relationship. And I want to know how people can build a relationship on that first call.
So let me ask you this then. That's great stuff. I'm sure that are you guys getting some value out of this? Like, say yes in the chat, or say 10X, or Josh is the boss, or something like that. But I don't know. They can just throw whatever they want. Heck yeah, I love that one, David.
I like it.
But here's my question.
Thanks, Mom. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It's my dad.
Is he on there? Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that we talk about is that we hire for attitude, train for results.
Yeah.
So at what point, like, what would you give up to say, okay, they don't quite have all the technical skills, but man, what is your indicator that this person has the attitude that they want to be trained?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I have a couple of people on my team, like, who have never sold anything their entire life. And I purely, and I made the right decision. I made the right decision in hiring them because they turned out to be super freaks. So I love it. But the biggest thing is that, like, I literally wanted to know, number one, like, how are they going to have a great attitude on the call? Like, how are they going to come with energy? When I am conversing with them, do I want to keep conversing with them? Would I get on a second call with them because they're interesting enough to talk to? Some people get on there and say, let me just tell you a little bit about what we have to sell.
It's very ASMR.
It's very, 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 very interesting, and you must have it. Like, I mean, these people, like, they're just boring. You're like, get off the phone with me. I don't want to talk to these people. So number one, like, if they have the right attitude and then they get off the call, and I always assess them. I'm like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel like you did on that call? If they rank themselves really high, then I'm going to kind of take them down a couple of pegs and show them why they shouldn't rank themselves high. If they rank themselves a little lower and say, hey, you know what? I could improve and I could get better. However, I'm extremely coachable.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, if you're willing to invest in me, I'm willing to give it all back to the company. So I'm looking for people like that because I set up high expectations. I was actually talking with, some of you know Gabby, I was talking with her today. I'm very hard. Like, I almost make it hard for you to want to sign that piece of paper and that acceptance letter because I scare you. I'm like, hey, my salespeople have an unparalleled work ethic. They're working 7 days a week. They're making over 300 calls a day. They don't clock in at 8:30 and then clock out at 5:30. You know, some of them are here till 7, 8 at night, and they get here at 7 in the morning. So, like, that's the culture that I'm looking for. And I'm looking for people that want to accelerate their personal, professional, and financial goals and pull it all forward.
Steve
O'Connell, what do you say?
He said 8 days a week, actually.
8 days a week. We invented an extra day just for him. So like, this is what you want to set expectations, because when somebody comes on board and they think they can just punch in and punch out, like, then you've set the wrong expectations, and then you just get mad, you get pissed. Why is that person slacking off? Like, why is that person not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Because you got to set the expectations, and you got to measure those expectations.
Yep. I love it. So that all comes out of the technical interview.
Yeah.
But we still have one more, because you might think, oh, behaviorally, yeah, they sounded pretty good. Seems like they're going to do good.
Exactly.
Technically, this guy's coachable. We like this. We're going to hire for attitude. But there is one more step that is a non-negotiable. Actually, all 3 steps are non-negotiable. But we are disciplined to every single time, no matter what position in the organization. And that is our number 3 core values interview. And a lot of you on this call know this. Really quick, we have 6 core values that we eat, sleep, breathe by. We die by. We literally hire, fire, and reward with. Those are inspiration, discipline, accountability, transparency, alignment, and results. And what we essentially do is when we invite them for a 3rd round interview, our recruiters will send them a message and saying, here's a link to our careers page. There's 6 core values on there. You are to do a 5-minute presentation. That's the only instruction we give on the core values and how you embody them, align with them. And then we'll have 25 minutes for Q&A on this 30-minute call. And that is honestly the telltale everything for us when it comes to whether or not we truly hire them. So the hiring manager is always on there. There's usually a couple members of our executive team on there. And usually our executive team, this is the first time they're seeing people. So this is their first lens, right? And if somebody comes in and they just nonchalantly kind of go through them, or they define them, but they don't talk about how it resonates with them, or how they displayed it in the past and give examples, then that's a red flag for us. Like, we will be like, yeah, they were such a good fit before, but man, not seeing it now, because all of our daily behaviors and decisions we make here and actions that we take, it sounded like every move.
Anyway, I was waiting for you.
Anyway, all those things revolve around our core values. They are all interconnected. And so when we have somebody who does not fundamentally align with those are the individuals that will very quickly get spit out. Even if they ended up getting bias in the core values interview, and we did end up hiring them, it rears its head so fast in our onboarding process.
Or they can't, or they can't follow instructions. Like,
and that too.
You know, if we say this is what you're going to do and this is what you're going to present on,
like 5 minutes,
and then you get 5 minutes and they take 15 or 20, it's like, wait, hang on, like we completely negated the instructions and we didn't follow them.
Yeah.
And it's like then we're like, oh, here we go. That's another red flag.
It's a huge red flag, and I can't tell you how many times that happens. I would probably say 50% of the time. And it's interesting, like, even someone will jump on and say, I know I only have 5 minutes, so I'm going to get going here. And then at 7 minutes, they're only through the 2nd of 6 core values. They're like, oh, I know, I better get going here. We've had many times we've actually cut people off, and we don't, it just doesn't feel great. But then again, it's the ultimate filter. So then we know, even though they were great during the first 2 interviews, here we are. And the cost savings of a bad hire, I should say the cost of a bad hire, is somewhere in the range in the first 90 days of $35,000 to $50,000, which is not just their salary. It's time, energy, and effort of your team, onboarding them, training them. If you put them in front of your clients too soon, it might cost you money because the client doesn't have a great experience. And so being disciplined, we call it hiring slow, and then we fire fast. But the hiring slow, it doesn't mean duration of time. It just means stay disciplined to those 3 steps. And make sure you have your indicators and your red flags to know when someone is a green or someone is a red on any of those interviews. So that's what I would say would be kind of rounded out here.
100%.
Because we should probably take some questions, because we're gabbing way too
well,
much.
I mean, we are. I was. But I did want to talk about the sales component too,
okay, fine.
Yeah, it's only the
One
same
more
part
thing.
of the thing. And then we'll take some questions, because I do want to take some questions, but I'll be as fast as humanly possible. So in the sales, like, we kind of touched on it all tonight, right? So Brandon talks about the 4 Ps, right? Mm-hmm. So first you got to promote. You got to promote what you do. You got to promote who you do it with. You got to promote the success of your business. And then from there, what you have to do is you have to turn a profit. You have to make money, right? Like, nobody's going to come to work for you if you have no proof of concept.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to come work with you if you can't show that, like, you as the business owner, the highest lid in the organization, can't sell and make money. Because you have to be able to show that person, like, hey, you can come here and here's how you can earn money. And then the second thing you need to do is you need to create a process around all that stuff. The third thing, that was on the third thing. So the third thing that you need to do is you need to create a process around everything that you've done to make you successful through your promotion. And then how did you generate that profit? And then the fourth thing after that is you can hire people. So very early on, like, I learned a lot of the stuff that Brandon teaches from a sales perspective, not a business owner's perspective. Like, I learned through the School of Hard Knocks. Like, I learned that I could not successfully ascend from a sales standpoint in the organization until I duplicated myself, until I showed other people how to be successful in an organization. Because the one thing that I'll tell you is, like, as business owners, and I talk to them every single day, is if you cannot duplicate yourself as the business owner, then you are stuck doing the thing that you may not want to be doing anymore. And then your business is also stuck because you can't create a team around you to come lift you up, to put you on the thing that you need to be doing in order to grow the business. So like, I learned this very early in my career, and I knew that as soon as I got hired on Cardone Ventures, as soon as I demonstrated that I could sell to Brandon, as soon as I could demonstrate that, hey, we have a product here that the people want, and we have something that other people are gonna, like, other people are gonna be attracted to this and say, hey, what's this? And how can I do what these other people are doing? And then when I was given a team and said, like, hey, here's your team, I knew that I had to duplicate myself into them, or else I could never get more people. If I was always the best salesperson, then I was gonna stay the best salesperson forever. Now, you should still be the best, like, and Brandon is the best in our organization, but, like, it doesn't mean that you have to be stuck in the day-to-day doing the thing that you need to be doing.
Exactly.
Like, you need, like, my highest contribution is if I can take 2 salespeople and duplicate their success or my success into them, then how do I continue that waterfall effect? And how do I get them to duplicate the things that they bring to the table that are strengths in the organization as well? So I understood that extremely early, because like I said, I went through a lot of the school that you guys went through, which is the school of hard knocks. And you get kicked and you get smacked around and you learn things, and I learned these things. That's why all Brandon's principles were like, dude, I understand this. I understand this because I've lived this, and this has happened. So all these things, like, this is like, sales is about a process. It's about creating a process and showing it to people that can duplicate that process. And so you can have something in your organization that you can scale.
And that's where, one more time, the boot camp. The boot camp is literally 3 days of that process, because they're going to hit on all 4 Ps. We do hit on all 4 Ps. It's the promote. A lot of people don't promote because they think that they don't have a delivery team after the client comes in that they can service. They don't have that, all the processes built, everything's perfect. Well, I'm here to tell you, progress over perfection. You can spend all the money in the world on the best service plan after you get clients, customers, or patients in the door. But if you don't have people coming in the door, then it doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I have learned this from Grant, because I used to be a perfection over progress person. And now I have completely shifted to the progress over perfection, because you can iterate stuff and make it better. But the only way you can do that is by the best practice. And the best practice are the things that make you money. And that's what you want to duplicate and innovate on. So you've got to promote first, get out there, get out of obscurity, make the money, make the processes off of however you made the money, and then hire the people to do the processes. It just absolutely is what we teach at Business Boot Camp.
So, and this is going to be the best $500 that you ever spend.
Gosh, amazing,
because let me tell you this, like, Brandon always hits, like, with the stats, right? So 2/3 of businesses fail within the first 5 years. So the question is how do I get on the right side of that stat? How do I get on the correct side of that stat? Because I don't want to be the 2/3 of the businesses that fail. Well, the answer to that question is learn from other people's mistakes. Learn a process that has made other businesses successful, and Grant Cardone and Brandon are widely successful. They do not need to do this. They do not need to spend 3 days and teach all this stuff to you, but their legacy comes from, like, how can they show you guys the processes that have not only made them successful, but thousands of businesses. So Brandon has spent the better part of his life not only learning himself, but researching 4,000 different businesses, finding out when they break, how they break, and the strategies that take them around that. So Brandon's willing to deliver that information to you and spend the 3 days in the classroom with you to show you this is exactly how to do it. So all you got to do is just click on the link that we provided in there and spend 3 days with us, so we can develop a relationship and find out, hey, what are the things that you know and that you're strong in? What are the areas that you don't even that you don't know? Like, hey, I don't know how to do open heart surgery. That's the one thing I know I don't
and
know.
you know you don't know that.
Right. And I know that I don't know that. But there's all this stuff out there that you don't even know that you don't know. Right?
It's true. Yes.
Like, so you need that information. You need to spend time with people that are willing to show that to you.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you so much, Josh.
Can we take some questions?
100%, because we were definitely talking too much.
Yeah, this is like
all you have to do
3
is
cups of coffee a day. So.
Hit the reactions button down at the bottom, raise hand. The rules are your camera must be on. But let's go ahead and start taking some questions. Why don't you select the first person?
Okay, let's do. I don't know Thomas Jenkins. He looks newer to me, but he's probably not. But let's go, Thomas. Can we unmute Thomas?
You might have to accept the request, Thomas, or hit your unmute, maybe.
I know you. You actually
Hey,
have.
well, good. I know you too.
Yeah. So when I
Thomas,
did the 10x exit, I was doing it virtually, and I didn't get my link. I called, and you answered the phone. And
okay, that's great.
Yeah,
I totally remember that.
Your best friends,
I was the
Josh.
guy who answered the phone.
Jeez.
Yeah, and you said that you were the better looking Dawson, and I couldn't picture you at the time.
So true. So true. Truth.
So my question is around. You mentioned that you hired some people who aren't in sales, but they were like just beasts. And my question to you is, when it comes to training and getting people involved in kind of promoting the company, but they're not in that sales role position, what would you recommend as outside of Cardone U? Because everyone in our company does Cardone U. They do 4 segments every single day, and they report back on it. Outside of that, how do you get people to continue to promote the company, to continue to grow it?
Yeah, so you got to have like your own internal training too, right? Like there are things that they need to know about the business so they can sell the value proposition or the things that you teach. Like our onboarding process is very extensive.
Yes.
I mean, it's a 4-week long onboarding process where people literally walk through I think they touch like every department.
They
in
do.
our
That's the
organization.
4-week. But then there's the additional onboarding for specialty and technical roles.
Yeah. So I think it's like finding a process that introduces them to all aspects of your business. Like Cardone U is an amazing tool. I mean, like, think about it this way. Not like, Grant always jokes and says, hey, you weren't born a salesperson, you were born a baby. Like you're trained to be a salesperson through process and giving you confidence that you can make really, really good decisions, and you know how to have those conversations, because some people are even afraid to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Right. So Cardone U is amazing, but like really walking them through every step in your organization, really having them have a clear understanding about what your business is about in every single category, but condensing that down to a very simplistic process that they can walk through and the roadmap for how they'd experience that.
Which is part of that cultural and operational integration points. As well as financial, because the more knowledge that they have, even if it's high level around the organization, the more they understand how they can contribute. And then ultimately, there's a process we call personal, professional, financial goal alignment. After 2 months of being in our organization, you get to have this conversation about, hey, what are your goals? And then how do we structure them in a way that helps you achieve your goals while helping us achieve the business goals? But they can't have that perspective or that context until they've gone through that type of an onboarding plan where they understand from a high level every bit of the organization and how they can contribute.
So
great question.
2 follow-up questions. So I don't mean to take up time. The one question is, what one of your products talks mostly about that? So like, is it the boot camp or something else? And then if we first create that new onboarding, do you recommend that everybody go through that onboarding, even because it's a brand new onboarding?
Let me take it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yes, everyone, regardless of position, must go through the same onboarding plan, those same 4 weeks. So everyone has the same opportunity to gain that perspective. And then you were asking about the type of product, and our People Essentials workshop is what goes through end to end, the entire people. It's basically the employee engagement formula or equation through attracting them, finding them, aligning them, developing them, and retaining them. There's 5 different key areas to that equation, and we go into depth on that. So onboarding is part of that process. We give you templates, we show you examples. Again, we have an abundance mindset, and we're trying to, everything that we teach, we do. Yeah. This is why we are where we are right now, and why we want to give, because we know how much opportunity is out there based upon the research. It's incredible the opportunity that small to mid-sized businesses have, but they don't have the tools and resources. Nobody's coming to them saying, here you go. They're being stingy with it. They're being that scarcity mindset, but we're abundance, and let us know what you need. We've got the program for you guys. So
let's go, Thomas.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'll stop talking. He's cutting me off now. This is what he does, by the way.
Yeah, this is exactly.
All right.
So hey, let's try to do this. Let's do this. Let's get rid of everybody in the top row and answer all their questions before we get off.
I'm trying.
Okay, but I'm just like, that's our goal.
That's our goal.
So we got to set a goal.
Okay,
so we can
goal
achieve
is, let's go.
Let's go, Ann.
Anne
Is it
Thornley
Anne?
Brown.
Annie?
I
It's
think
Anne Thornley Brown. Yes.
Hi,
And
Anne Thornley Brown.
First of all, I support everything you're saying. I used to do management training for Bell Mobility, and we did the behavior-based interviewing, the onboarding, 100% on board with you. My struggles are in the area of sales. The most recent challenge that I find is what Grant talks about, people coming in and they're on the wrong product. And the reason they're on the wrong product in my industry is because of what's called scope creep. I design and facilitate executive retreats, meetings, and team building. And I do integrate fun with it, but it's fun with a purpose. It's not just to get out there and have a blast. Unfortunately, there are recreational providers who are marketing their services as team building. So when people call me, it turns out they're either looking for just fun or a meeting and fun, and not my core service, which is design and facilitation of team building and executive retreats. Should I just, for the time being, focus only on my core and not talk at all about any of the value added services I offer?
Do you want to?
Well,
I'm happy to.
no, yeah, she's
Okay,
asking
good.
a sales question.
Okay, good. So like I want to give you, like,
appreciate
usually I just jump in and say, hey, I'm gonna cut you off.
Go.
So a couple of things. So like I personally, like, I think that, I mean, you might want to look at your messaging too, like, so that people come in with the right expectations on the front end, like of your services that you offer. The other part of your question was is that should you just focus on the thing that you do? And what was the second part of that?
She wants to know. She should focus on work.
Because
and Anne,
most.
Hey, Anne.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, because I'm with you. I'm in the adult learning space. I build content.
There
I
you
design
go.
things. I facilitate. Now, listen, we all know who are in the adult learning theory space that people get confused when there's too many options.
Yeah.
So keep
Yes.
the main thing, because you want to start to build a relationship, not just try to transact one time. So getting people in for the purpose that they need in order to solve that pain point, and then you'll help them uncover the things that they don't know, which then become bigger pain points because they didn't know they even had them, and that's where your value add options come in. That's how we operate. So
Okay.
no confusion.
The other thing that, like, and like I know Anne because like we hang out on the after show.
What are we
quite
competing?
frequently.
Are we
yeah,
competing?
no, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
I know
do.
Anne because like we hang
We
out
do.
on the after show. But the one thing that I'll tell you is like you want to give people options, right? Like, because if you give
Not a
them,
lot.
yeah, but not too many, right? So you want to give people, like, I believe in giving people an A and a B. Because if you give them an A and a B, they're going to choose. If you give them one thing, you're only giving them one thing to say no to. So like if you can give them just an A and a B, then you can really open up like your amount of transactions that you're going to get, because you're just like, if they're like, yeah, that doesn't sound like it's for me, then where do you go with them? You know, you got to give them two offerings, because maybe it's a way for you to split up your retreats.
There you go.
You know, you got
Okay.
a fun retreat and you got your core retreat that you do.
And make sure you're asking the question what their pain point is.
Yeah,
what those
exactly.
options
And
are.
it comes
So,
and that comes on the front
okay.
end.
We got to keep rolling.
Okay, well,
Thank
I know
you.
you're talking too much.
Appreciate you.
Okay, awesome. Let's go to Jason. Jason's
5
been
minutes.
waiting.
We
We
can do
got
this.
5 minutes.
We're
can do
goal
this.
achievers.
Hey guys, thanks so much for taking my question. I was just down there actually for HQ Day, sales and marketing. It was phenomenal. If anybody has never been to an event, then I highly, highly recommend it. So a little promotion for you guys. I'm a brand new business owner. I just started up my LLC in August. We're in the teacher training, professional development side. I guess my one question would be then, if you were me and you're literally laying that first brick down, what's the first place to start with?
Yeah, so like for me, like I would, so as long as you have some promote out there for your business, the second, that's like a combination between the second and third. But the second thing that you need to do is that you need to turn a profit. Like you need to start transacting those people and moving them forward so that you can show proof of concept. Like that's the hardest thing to start when you start a new business.
It is.
First of all, you have to know, like, is like the question I would ask myself if I started a business right now, is there anybody else that's doing what I'm doing and that they're bigger than I am? Are they in my marketplace? What do I know about them? Because like, I want to know that is this the right vehicle? Am I in something that like can get big? And then the only thing that I would ask myself after that is like, you know, what separates me from them is that knowledge, experience, data, and strategy. So what I need to do is I need to find somebody who's willing to educate me on those things, so that like the things that I don't know that can accelerate my learning. So, but you need to start off by saying, hey, the thing that I need to do is first of all, I need to get leads. I need to get people in my business, which means you need to start promoting what you do. And if you're B2B, B2C, you need to go out and get those clients. Then the second thing you need to do is you need to turn a profit. You need to start transacting those leads.
Yeah, and what Josh has said about understanding your audience. So if there are other people, experts in your space doing what you do, that's what we call red ocean versus the blue ocean, which is like this newly discovered pain point that no one's, tackling right now. And even if it's a red ocean and you're amongst these people, there are different types of fans in that ocean, meaning there's the ones that you're like an Apple versus a Samsung. You're not going to convert me, an Apple user, to a Samsung because I'm a raging fan, right?
Yeah.
Like, good luck. Because if it's too hard to switch, I'm not going to do it. But if you find people that have actually been doing it for a while and like their pain to switch is less than, like dealing with the fact that they're not happy. So they're like, well, I'm not very happy. So maybe I would switch because it's not, I want to find something new. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but that's the kind of client you want to go after. So you want to craft your message around pain points, and frustrations and things of that nature in order to attract those people who are still hanging on, but they're like, I could take one thing that, yeah, you're right. I'm going to go that direction with you and give it a shot. And then you solve that problem and then continue to solve those problems. If we could learn more about what you're doing, we could give you more specific advice. But from what we know, that's what we can tell you for now. We don't want to give bad advice. We just want to give.
That's awesome. I appreciate that advice, guys. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Jason. Hope to see you more on these calls.
All right, we got two more.
Three.
Trina
and Wilford. Yeah. I got two more. You're right.
Yeah, two more.
I was
Yeah,
wrong.
you're
I was
right.
wrong.
You're 100%
I'm 100% wrong.
Hey, yeah. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi. Yeah, in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm new to the group. I'm referred by Magda Khalifa. So she's been a member.
Magda.
Yeah, you love Magda, right?
Yes.
So I'm a first timer. So I would love to hear some success stories. And I don't know if this is the right, framework, or maybe this is off topic.
I got you. I got you some success stories, okay? There's two things. Number one, if you just put in the chat that you're looking for those stories, then I know you're going to get people that are going to reach out to you. And then the second thing, there is two things that we can help you. If you go to cardoneventures.com/success, then you will 100% find all our success stories there. Okay?
Yes, they're really good.
Are you okay? Are you gonna be okay? Why are you
like
laughing so
an
much?
SNL moment.
Are you? Why is that?
Fine. I don't know. It's been a long day, guys. Really, really has. Let's keep rolling. But seriously, their growth stories, they're really great testimonials. They're really well done. And a lot of those clients, they're still working with us. And it's 2 years ago that a lot of those videos were made. But we have tons of success. You could ask in the chat, by the way, anyone who works with us, if you've had success with us, just say 10x success. That would be amazing. But yes, we look forward to working with you. By the way, Trina, let us meet you. Let's hang out.
Yeah, come to our boot camp.
$497, $500. Let's
come
meet,
to
let's meet up. We'll get
Scottsdale.
you some great value. Awesome. Thanks, Trina.
Okay, we're on our last one.
We're on our last one.
We're at. Oh man, we're over. That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. We're here for you guys.
Yes.
Let's go, Wilford.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, I don't want to be long. I really appreciate what you guys do, but I'm gonna end all that. This is the issue I'm having. How do I I'm trying to create a more incentives for the back of the house, but I don't know what to measure or how can I give them incentives for like bookkeepers and the receptions and stuff like that. And they're complaining that other people are getting incentives. That's one question. The other question is, how do I find anyone to help me create and write down my procedures for each person? Because I have the receptionist doing the collections job. They running around with the head cut off, and I need everyone to know exactly what they need to do and how to do it. But I need someone to help me build some type of process, a clear understanding of what the process is.
Wilford, I'm going to answer your question, but my question first is anyone talking to you about a 10x 360 with us?
I've been at 10x 360. We talked.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry that I'm not recognizing you, but
I was the
Wilford,
good-looking
number
black
one.
guy in the front.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wilford. Hey, listen, we talked about this with process documentation inside the 360. The form of it is basically you got to have by your departments. What are all the processes? Just write out don't even write out what the process is. Just what are the processes that you need a receptionist to do? This is in their job description basically. And what do you need the accounting department to do? Okay. And then you just got to make sure that people are assigned and held accountable to those processes, which actually leads me to this incentive planning thing that you're talking about for what you would call non-revenue generators. Now, high level, it's all about accountability through metrics. And everyone on this call, you should have 3 to 5 individual metrics for every single role in your organization that individual person is accountable to. Not a team metric, like not a department, not an organizational KPI, but an individual metric. And I'm going to use a videographer, for example, because I use this one quite a bit. You wonder, how could they be incentivized? Well, really simple. It's how they create efficiency and effectiveness for someone like myself, who has a lot of other responsibilities I need to be doing, opposed to reviewing like a video multiple times and saying the same thing on a revision, and I'm revising it 6 or 7 times. Those many rounds takes away time from me that I could be spending on working on the business to move this business forward. Therefore, it indirectly creates revenue. When they'd only, I'd say a metric for them is revision rounds 2 or less. And if they don't hit that, they don't, for that month, because we pay out monthly, then they don't get that percentage of their overall opportunity. I have 2 other metrics for them. They got to provide transparency through a production tracker. I got to know, without asking them, where are they at? And then they got to hit the deadlines. I got 2 videographers in here. They're like, I know, yeah, I know. But those 3 things take 33%, 33%, and 33%, and that's one whole incentive for the month. Now, you ask, how do you determine the incentive? Take a base pay, and then we add a percentage of annual comp potential. Meaning, if they were $60,000 for their base, we say you have an opportunity for 10% of your base over the course of 12 months. So $6,000 divided by 12, $500. So every month they have an additional opportunity to earn $500 based on hitting those 3 metrics. And if they don't, then you take away one of them, then they only have 66% of the 500. They don't do 2 of them. They only have 1. They have 33% of their 500. So that is one way. All you have to do is for your receptionist, your accounting person. How do they create efficiency for you or efficiency for the business? How are they creating effectiveness? And then set a metric. You get to get creative with this stuff. And if you guys want to learn more, we have essentials programs for this where we can go in more detail, but that's the high level answer. 3 to 5 metrics. 3 is a great number. It's kind of a Goldilocks number. And then set a percentage of their base for their annual. And by the way, don't get yourselves in trouble with your incentive plans. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. And what I mean by that, I'm looking up at him, but I should be looking at the camera, is that once you know your profitability, you set aside a percentage of your profitability in order to make sure that you're always covered for your incentives. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble if you base it off revenue, base it off profit. Okay, that's a really big one. Finance Essentials can teach you a lot more about that. So, and platform with us, we can actually help you build it. Okay, awesome, yes. Wilford.
Awesome. Well,
we're officially at time. We got through the questions. We hope you guys got a lot of value out of this call. I know we talked quite a bit, but we were really excited.
Yeah, we're excited to be on the call with you guys, and we're even more excited to meet you in person. So yes. We want you to come to the first ever Arizona.
There's never another number 1
camp. Like, yeah, if you want to be part of the biggest party ever.
You never know what's going to happen because it is the first one. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, Brandon's going to go crazy on this one. So I would suggest you get there. We'll put the link in the chat, or you can reach out to a CV team member in the chat if you have additional questions, but that's what we want to provide to you. Anything that you want to say in closing?
I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Tell your friends about this call if you could. Send them to our website, aka that landing page. Have them register. You know, let's share this abundance. All of you, there's so much to share. Let's impact some lives together. So bring them here next Tuesday night and beyond.
Let's do it, guys. All right, see you guys next week, and I'm going to turn it over to the one, the only, Dr. Ashley Edwards.
10X, guys.
This is 10X Owners Live.
Advantage.